Hello, everyone. Can you give me a wave or a hello or a thumbs up or anything that lets me know that you can indeed hear me? Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Sunday night. It is 10 p.m. Can you guys hear me okay? Someone say yes, someone say hi in the chat box, and we will get going right away. Yes, yes, yes. You can hear me. I know you can see me, but can you hear me? I guess that's the big thing. Awesome. All right, let's go. It is Sunday night, February 23rd. Welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary live on YouTube. I am Clay Emo. I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks Take, all in one take. We are live as we are every Sunday night. It's such a blessing when I come in here, I press go live, and it says there are 20 people waiting for me. I've never had 20 people wait for me in my entire life. So thank you for being here. If you want, as we start off, you can press the thumbs up, the like button if you'd like to. No pressure, but it does no harm either. So if you want to do that, that's awesome. And we'll get going right away. What I want to do this time is I want to make sure that I honor your time. I'm going to make sure that one of the boys, if not both, I'm not sure, both Sean and Jake are at church right now. So they'll come back and one of them will join us, at least one of them will join us at 10:45. I want to honor that. I want to try and end off between 11 and 11:05 at the latest. I know many of you are putting off studying, you're putting off going to bed, or you're watching from overseas, wherever it may be. I appreciate you, no matter how close, how far you are, and I want to honor your time. So we're going to do our best to try and do this within 65 minutes, and I hope you think that makes sense and you agree to do that. Had a lot of fun with both boys last week, so we'll see who comes down tonight. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through very quickly, spend no more than 5 minutes recapping the week, and then we'll go straight to your questions for a good 40 minutes or so. And if it's a question, this is what I'm going to do this time. I got some feedback, mostly from my own kids and myself, that I was repeating my answers a lot because people come in late and they ask a question that I've already answered, which is totally fair. What I'm going to do is if it's a question that I've already answered, instead of answering it again, I'm going to refer back to my earlier answer and ask you to check out the replay of this and watch it on your own time. So I think that makes sense, and I think that'll help us get to more questions. So give me a thumbs up, give me a like, or a clap hands, or just yeah, Clay, that's a good idea. Unless you don't think it's a good idea, then you can say that as well. So let's get going. The Canucks played only 2 games since last Sunday, and that was, of course, Wednesday, the loss to Minnesota, and then Sunday, last night, the big win against Boston. And that Minnesota game, we know we lost 4-3 in the shootout. It was tough because I think we should have won that game, actually, as I'm just pulling something up right now. I think we should have won that game. We had a lead going to the last part of the third period, but alas, Minnesota tied it up late, and then they beat us in the shootout with Kevin Fiala, I think, scoring, or I can't remember who scored the winning goal, actually, but I know it was an exciting game. JT Miller had 2 goals, but it was all for naught. And yes, it was a 4-3 shootout loss to Minnesota. But then last night, the 9-3 thrashing of the Boston Bruins. So good to see, a 3-point night for Stetcher, for Toffoli, for a 2-point night for Hughes, a 3-point night for Stetcher as well. So we can talk about that. And then in between, on Monday was the big trade for Tyler Toffoli, giving up Tim Schaller, giving up Tyler Madden, giving up a third-round draft pick and a conditional pick as well. And what I say to that is you have to give up quality to get quality. And I'm not just saying this because Toffoli has 4 points in his first 2 games, but I think that was a trade the Canucks needed to make to show that they were in the running and that they were going to make up for Boeser's absence. And then speaking of Boeser, on Thursday night, it was the Meet the Team event at Rogers Arena. You kind of were assigned a person to meet, a station to at least get one autograph, and I took my nephew Lucas. You guys saw that, and we got to meet Boeser. He was very nice. You guys have watched my vlogs. You've seen my exchange with him. I basically shook his hand, said, hey. He seemed to recognize me, but I'm not sure. Maybe he's like that to everyone. And I basically said, we need you back. He goes, don't worry, I'll be back before the regular season ends. So that's nothing that we hadn't heard from other people, Travis Green especially, but it was nice to hear it from him. Of course, he's not going to say anything else. He's not going to say like, oh yeah, I'm out until the end of the playoffs. But it was nice to hear that. I told him that I'll write a playoff song about him. He had a chuckle about that. I think he knows that I do music. And then of course I told him I was praying for his father, Duke. So all in all, it was a really good exchange, only about a minute or so, but it went really, really well. Boeser, class act. And then my nephew Lucas got tired, so we didn't stay that long. He actually didn't want to line up for any autographs, which was fine with me. He just kind of walk around and see the sights and sounds of Rogers Arena. So that was the Canucks week. It was Monday night, the trade for Tyler Toffoli. Wednesday, the 4-3 loss at home in the shootout against Minnesota. Thursday, the Meet the Team event, season ticket holders. Then Saturday, the 9-3 thrashing of the Boston Bruins. So maybe some of that's going to come up with the questions. I haven't looked at anything in the chat box yet, but I see it's going crazy, which is a good thing. And like I said, I'm trying not to repeat answers. I'm going to ask you to refer to earlier when I answer. So I'm going to answer everything that's in the chat box as long as it's clean and it makes sense. But I won't repeat answers, and I think that'll save us some time. And then, if there's time at the end before the boys come in, then I can go back. But really, we want to honor 10:45 for the boys, and then 11 o'clock to 11:05 end time. So I hope that sounds good. Let me just drink my water in my nice Lucky 9 Lanes, Monkey 9 Brewing Company cup. This is where my boys bowl, and all three of my kids bowl, and 2 of my boys work. Check it out if you're in Richmond, and I know some of you are. All right, here we go. Let's go. HSM, nice start. Fangirl Gaming. Hi, Clay, I'm back. What did you think of the Vertanen goal yesterday? It was fine. It was the 9-3 goal, I think. And of course, the Canucks fans were chanting, we want 10, we want 10 after that. It was good. It showed his good release. Again, he's really strong when he streaks down that left side and puts it past. I think it was Yaroslav Halak by that time. But it was a nice shot. Vertanen's always had a really, really strong release. I believe that's his 17th goal of the season. And what I thought was interesting was when he was skated back to the bench, all the Canucks players, instead of them all leaning over the boards ready to give him a fist bump, they're all sitting down already. And I'm sure that's because they were up 9-3. And that was probably Travis Green saying, hey guys, no need to celebrate, no need to celly. But we can congratulate Jake later in the locker room. So it's kind of funny how Jake skated to the bench and then just sat down instead of fist bumping anyone. But I thought it was a good goal. And we're used to seeing that kind of quick release from Vertanen this season. SG, hello SG. HSM Fangirl, what is your favorite food to order at Rogers Arena? Great question. I have a routine where I go in, I sign up for the Budweiser safe driver, designated driver thing, so I get my free pop. And then I go over to Carve outside of my section, and I get a Carve sandwich with chips. And that's my kind of go-to meal, a Pepsi and a Carve sandwich. And season ticket holders, we got a $300 gift cert for food, so I haven't had to pay any cash for any food at Rogers Arena this season, and it's probably going to last. I'm actually going to only one more game before the end of the season, just because we've given away or sold the rest of our tickets. But you better bet that I'll be in there in the arena for the playoff games. So yes, Pepsi and a Carve sandwich. Baseball Jones, my neighbor in Stevenson. Hello, I missed the last 2 weeks, but I'm back tonight. I'm sure you'll address this off the top, but what are your thoughts of the Barrie rumors? What deal makes sense in your mind? Good question, Baseball Jones. Great to meet you at the Meet the Team event on Thursday night. We know the Canucks have had eyes on Tyson Barrie for a long time. In fact, I talked to Elliot Friedman during the draft weekend at Rogers Arena last weekend. That was my birthday weekend, you might remember as well, but that's not important. But I was talking to him on the Saturday after news of the JT Miller trade broke, and he told me that the Canucks were very close to finalizing a trade with Colorado at the time for Tyson Barrie, and it was Stetcher and maybe another roster player who Friedman would say it could have been Vertanen and maybe a pick or a prospect, I don't know, for Tyson Barrie. And of course, we know that trade did not happen. Barrie ended up going to Toronto with Nazem Kadri, the main player, going the other way, and Colorado keeping 50% of that $5.5 million salary. So we've been hearing a lot of this Barrie for Stetcher, and if that's the case, Stetcher's contract is $2.3 million. Barrie is 5.5, but only the team would only be on the hook for half of that because Colorado has the other half, so 2.75. So it obviously have to be Stetcher and something going one way for Barrie if that's the case. I like Tyson Barrie as a player. He's at a 59-point season, a 57-point season. He can be a 50-point D-man. He hasn't been used well in Toronto. He's not the best defensively. Do we need him on offense from a blue line perspective? Well, we have Quinn Hughes for that, but I do think paired with the right guy, a stay-at-home guy like Alex Edler, right? Barrie's a right-hand shot. Can you imagine a top four potentially of Edler with Barrie and then Hughes and Tanev? That sounds enticing to me. But I do like Troy Stetcher, not just because he's from Richmond, I'm from Richmond. We're both good-looking guys from Richmond. But if the Canucks don't think that they can get Stetcher re-signed because of arbitration or whatever it may be, it would make sense for them to try and move them before tomorrow, as much as I don't want them to. So what would make sense, Baseball Jones? I think it would be Stetcher and something for Tyson Barrie. But I'm still not convinced it's going to happen, or I don't know how I'd feel about it. Quite frankly, if they did it, I think I'd be okay with it. I wouldn't be thrilled, but I wouldn't be upset either. Just like I was with the Toffoli trade. I actually like the Toffoli trade. With Barrie, though, maybe because it's Stetcher potentially going the other way, it's a bit harder to accept. But I wouldn't I wouldn't complain either because I do see the potential in Tyson Barrie. So how's that for a fence-sitting answer? I do believe it would be Stetcher and something for Tyson Barrie, but then another UFA, right? Now with Toffoli and Markstrom and Levo and Virtanen and Stetcher and Tanev, you add these guys all up. With Toffoli, if you simply pay them what they made this season, it's $22.5 million. And we know that Canucks only have $18 million of salary cap room, and that's not including any raises that all these players are going to want. So obviously something's got to give, and we'll see maybe the first domino start to fall tomorrow. I hope that answers your question, Baseball Jones. Shady Cat, okay. SG Monday to Wednesday. Wayne Simmons, SG Thursday. Vincent Trocheck. Okay, so Wayne Simmons was a rumor, then Vincent Trocheck, and then yes, Tyson Barrie are the rumors. Sounds like Simmons died down. Trocheck never really got much traction, and Tyson Barrie has had traction throughout the weekend. Great point. Nuck 649. I can't believe Canucks beat the Boston Bruins 9-3. It was crazy. The fans were chanting, "We want 10." Yeah, for the last minute and a half after Virtanen's goal, they were chanting, "We want 10," but it was not meant to be. But still, pretty cool to see the Canucks destroy anyone 9-3. But it's so sweet when it's Brad Marchand and the Boston Bruins. Michael 10. Hi, Clay. Hello, Michael. Nuck 649. Do you think Besso will return for sure 100%? Nothing is 100% for sure or guaranteed, but I think Jim Benning was making the most conservative estimate when he said 8 weeks. Then Travis Green hinted he thinks and hopes it'll be sooner than that. Besser seemed to intimate it'll be sooner than that. Maybe they don't want to say too much because of salary cap, because they're trying to make sure they have as much money as they can heading into the trade deadline. Whatever the reason, I do think Besser will be back. And when he gets back, wow, what a top six that'll be of potentially Pettersson, Miller, and Besser, and then Horvat with Pearson and Toffoli. So got a good chance to do something good. And so I do think that Besser will be back before the end of the season. Trade Markey. You could probably get a lot because he's playing so well, but I'm not sure I would trade him. He's probably been our MVP this season. Fillmore, if Luongo's jersey gets retired, shouldn't Kurt McLean's be retired too? He's the original number one. That's a good question. I don't think Luongo's jersey is going to get retired though, because I don't think he had the same impact that the Sedins did, and I don't think there's anyone else from that 2011 era that's going to have their jersey retired. So I think Luongo would likely go up in the Ring of Honor, but I don't think his jersey retired. My gut feeling, he didn't win a Stanley Cup, neither did the Sedins. He did win a gold medal, right, in Rogers Arena, but I'm not sure, maybe because of the way he left, the capture penalty and all those things. I'm not convinced that Luongo is going to have his jersey retired. Oscar, hi. Hello, Oscar, Nuck 649, yes. George, do you see the Canucks making any moves tomorrow or not? Good question. The Barrie one has been tossed around. I could see the Canucks, especially now that I think just before I turn this on, I believe Edmonton traded for Mike Green, defenseman from Detroit. So maybe the Canucks will feel like they have to make a move. If it's not Tyson Barrie, maybe they want to add a bit more insurance, a bit more depth, bolster their bottom pairing on D. And I wouldn't mind them going actually for another scoring forward. I don't know whose that is, but someone who's got grit. But I don't think the Canucks have to go out and get grit per se. I think in guys like Virtanen, Roussel, Beagle, Miller, even Horvat, I think you have enough guys, Pearson, you have enough guys that can play heavy, Myers, and play gritty. So if the Canucks make a move, I don't expect a major move, quite frankly, but if it is, I think it's going to be for a depth D-man, if not Tyson Barrie, and then another scoring forward, but we'll see. Oscar, who's Clay? It's the guy who's talking right now. SG, hello. Wissanu, if the Canucks trade Stetcher, we raid Benning's home. Okay, so I can tell you do not want the Canucks to trade Stetcher. Ryan Mellis, Clay, I made the trip from Victoria for Bruins Canucks game. So much fun. Too bad you weren't there. I'm coming for either the Avalanche or Tampa game. Yeah, Ryan, I'm so glad you're at last night's game. Yes, I will not be going to the Avalanche game. I'll be traveling to Vancouver Island on that day for a kids bowling tournament, and the Tampa game I actually have a work event. I was supposed to go. Marie Huey singing the anthems. I was supposed to go with her, but it looks like that may not happen. But that's cool that you're going to. That's awesome games. Boston, Colorado, and Tampa. That's awesome, Ryan. Michael, no help on the Pacific Division scoreboard. Yes, Vegas won, although Anaheim took an overtime, and Edmonton won. So right now Vegas is 4 points up on the Canucks, but with 3 games in hand, and then Canucks have 3 games in hand, and Edmonton is 1 point up on the Canucks, and the Canucks have 1 game in hand. So yeah, Vegas was 76, Edmonton was 73, Vancouver was 72, and then Calgary and Arizona was 70. So at least there's a 6-point gap now, not just a 1-point gap between the 5 teams, but at least the Canucks have games in hand on everyone, which is cool. Edmund, do you think Benning mortgaged the future for Toffoli? No, I don't think he mortgaged the future. I did mention that you have to give up quality to get quality. And that day I said perhaps the Canucks think they're locked in at center with Horvat. With Pettersson, with Horvat, and with Gaudette. Maybe, yes, people said Tyler Manning can play wing as well. He's good enough to do so. I believe it. But maybe, maybe they didn't see Madden supplanting Gaudette. So, no, I don't think they mortgaged the future, but they did give up a lot. But I wouldn't say that was the entire future. And I think the Canucks should get Tyson Barrie. I talked about that earlier. Do I think they should get him? I think they should inquire about him, but I don't think it's an absolute must. I would actually feel confident with who the Canucks have right now, especially if Stetcher plays with the confidence that he played with yesterday. Bo Horvat, nice to see you, Bo, Captain. Watching from Saskatchewan. Hello, thanks for watching. I know you're probably 2 hours ahead of me right now. Next, Sutter and Stetcher for Barrie or even Berchi. Yeah, I've heard Sutter's name. I've heard Berchi's name. I've heard, though, that they're having a lot of trouble moving Berchi, so we'll see if that happens. I permanently still can't go over to the win last night. Best game attended. All Bruins fans in my section left early, too. Well, I'd leave, too, if I was a fan of the team that was getting pummeled 7-3, 8-3, 9-3. But that's good. I'm glad you were there. And it looked like it was an awesome game. Oh, well, there's a lot of comments here. Tony Monk, I started watching the Canucks again around 2008, 2009 because of Rick Rippon. He totally rejuvenated my love of the team in the game. What do you remember of him? Oh, Tony, I remember him as being a heart and soul guy. I remember being crushed when I learned about his death. But yeah, he's one of those guys that you need on a team. I'm sure he was great in the locker room. I'm sure every guy on his team loved having him on the team and loved playing with him and for him. And that's what I remember. Not the most skilled guy, but certainly one of those guys that kind of like a Tyler Mott, but maybe a lot tougher. Mott doesn't fight that much, but Rick Rippon, kind of a hustle, energy, kind of one of the kind of guys that you really want on your team, that you need on your team. Jackie Tam, how are you today? I'm doing great. Did some studying. Did some shopping with my wife, and I hope you're doing well, Jackie. Thanks for asking. Helen Hughes, thumbs up. Thumbs up to you. Also, Clay, I remember you said you thought the retirement game was February 22nd. Now imagine if we did the retirement game last night, what that kind of score. Yeah, that's right. When they first mentioned that the Canucks would retire the Sedin's jersey in February 2020, I immediately looked at the Saturday game against Boston, which was 2/22, February 22nd, and I thought that was a Saturday night game against our hated rivals. And I thought that would be the game that they would pick. There was no insider information. That was just my guess. And it turns out, no, that they instead did Chicago. It sounds like the Sedins had a hand in that, and also a rival. And they got good publicity on the Wednesday night, even though it wasn't Saturday night. But yeah, I thought if I had to choose, I would pick that Boston game. And imagine if last night was the retirement game. It would be nuts. That Rippon fight versus Gill, I agree, Mark. I remember that too. Michael Tell, hi Clay, you ready for the playoffs? Absolutely. I just don't want Vegas in the first round. Man, if Vegas wins the division and we come in second or third, that's fine. That means we don't have to play them till at least the second round, which would be good. Edmund, David Ayers is my hero. Yeah, that was a great story. Yesterday, the 42-year-old Zamboni driver that beat the team that technically employs him. Heart smile, hey bud, what's up? My bodyguard, nice to see you. How would you feel if Pod or Hoggy would include to make a trade happen? Absolutely not. I don't think it will. So how would I feel? I'd feel sick, because that is mortgaging the future. Hoglander and Podkolzin are two best prospects coming up. No, I don't think that it's too recent. They are too new, and they're too highly touted and anticipated. No, I don't think that they'll be part of any trade. And if they were, I'd be quite upset, quite frankly. Ocean, not too far to look ahead. Got to appreciate the current success, but how do you see JB dealing with current cap issues? Try and package picks prospects with bad contracts or let guys walk. I don't think he has the appetite to giving away more picks or prospects. We already know we don't have a pick until the third round in 2020, presuming we make the playoffs this year, which we will. So I think it's more about letting the bad contracts walk. And some of the contracts aren't even bad, but do you re-sign a Josh Levo? What do you do about Troy Stetcher, as I talked about earlier? There's a lot of things to think about. So Fantenberg's a UFA as well. So I'm not sure. I just haven't seen a lot of getting rid of bad contracts, but by attaching a sweetener like a pick or prospect. I just don't see the Canucks doing that. Michael, Galchenyuk scored the winner in shootout. Thank you. Real Shred. Mike Dream trade. Yeah, just talked about that. Thank you. Nexus. Sutter going to be on the move tomorrow with Berchi. Yeah, that's a lot of money going out. At least $6 million there, or more or less. So if that happens, that'll be good. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Tony, who's the unsung hero this season? Ooh, good question. Last year, it was definitely Antoine Roussel. Unsung this year, and the definition of unsung doesn't, up until Christmas, I would have said, in January, I would have said Tanner Pearson. I thought that he's been having a really good season. He's slowed down a little bit, but it's still a really good player. JT Miller, you can't say is unsung because of how prominent he's played. So maybe it's Pearson or Virtanen. Those would be my choices for unsung hero this season. Nuck 649. I wish we got rid of the Berchi cap. Yeah, me too. Sim Alexander. Hi, Clay. Since Besser can't stay healthy, do you think we should trade for a top 4 D-man? Sounds like it's two different things. Since Besser can't stay healthy, do you think we should trade for top 4 D-man? No, I don't. I think it would be a lot to give up to trade for top 4 D-man. So I'd rather the Canucks actually bolster their bottom pairing, as I mentioned. But interesting thought. Austin, Jacob passes me through physics. He's a legend. Passes me through physics. Does that mean, Austin, he's in your class, or does that mean like he passes through you? I'll have to ask him about that. But Austin, if you're in his class, thank you. I'd say that Jacob is a legend as well. Anula, hello, Anula, Sweden, right? Refresh my memory, but I'm pretty sure. Jamie, hey, Clay, how's it going with you, buddy? I'm great, Jamie. Hope you're well as well. Elias Besterson, can you imagine if almost 10 years later we had a Canucks Bruins Stanley Cup Finals rematch? Yeah, 2020 June, imagine Game 7, Vancouver against Boston, but then this year the result is different. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and I did a vlog about this about a month ago, how Boston only had 2 bad years where they missed the playoffs, but otherwise they've been in the playoffs every single season since 2011. We know the Canucks did 3 years, then they missed a year, then they did 1 year, they've missed the last 4. So obviously the Canucks not as successful as Boston. Yeah, that would be crazy. I never even thought about that. But, you know, if the Canucks get lucky, not necessarily lucky, if they plow through the Pacific and then beat whoever's in the Central, we could see a Vancouver-Boston rematch. But, you know, a lot's got to happen for that to happen. Rios, what are your thoughts if you get Tyson Barrie? You're going to be up for the trade deadline. I talked about Tyson Barrie already, so I asked you to go back and watch that if you can. All right, and I do recognize that you guys are typing these questions well before I even answered the original one. So I'm not at all saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just saying to save time, I'd invite you to go check out the answer that I have. By the way, 72 people watching. It's the most we've ever had watching. People must be in a good mood or nothing to do tonight. So are you going to be up for the trade deadline? No, I'm going to go get some sleep. Just trying to get rid of this cold, and I have a busy day at work tomorrow. And it sucks. When I'm out, last year at the trade deadline, I was sitting at my desk. This year, I actually have an off-site meeting. So I don't know if I'm going to do a quick vlog when I'm at lunch or I'm at that meeting, or depending on what the Canucks do, but we'll see. But it might not be as as immediate as I want it to be, which is too bad. But yes, I'm going to go sleep tonight, but I'll get up relatively early and check the feed because, of course, a lot of things happening back east, which are 3 hours ahead of us. TJ, Clay, if you could add any past Canucks player to this team right now, who would it be? Oh, any past Canucks player? Wow, how could you say no to Bure? Like, I'm presuming like these guys are still pretending they're in the prime. Bure would be good. Henrik and Daniel would be good as a second or third liners. Like, if we're talking about guys in their prime, I would take Bure, or I would take the Sedins back, even though it was just last season. That's an interesting question. Can you imagine Bure with Pettersson and Miller, or Pettersson and Besser? That'd be nuts. Great, that was good. Edmund, Rick Dollar was saying, rumor Canucks offered Stetcher or Ben with Berchi and Sutter or McEwen. But sorry, offering Stetcher or Ben with Berchi. I presume we're talking about Barrie, for Barrie, but Stetcher or Ben with Berchi and Sutter or McEwen, but hard to say. Yeah, for Barrie. Oh, there you go, for Barrie. Yeah, I know the Stetcher for Barrie has been out there, but Ben with Berchi, yeah, if you're Toronto, do you take that? Maybe, no, unless you like the way Jordy Ben plays as opposed to the way Tyson Barrie's playing for you. Interesting. Shady, who here watches Lego Rocks? I do watch Lego Rocks. I think he's very good. We've never met in person, actually, but we chat a lot on Twitter, actually, DMs and by text message, and he's a very good vlogger. Hey, Clay, did you watch After Hours? My question got featured on the show. No, Dexter, I actually didn't watch After Hours, but that's really cool that you had your question featured. I'll try and check that out, or you can just type it out below what you asked and what he said. Rios, Troy Stetcher cheaper and arguably better defensively. Yeah, he's a better defensive player than Tyson Barrie right now, for sure. Lucas, Tyson Barrie for Stetcher, Berchi, Goodobin, a few picks. Would you make that trade if you're bending? For Stetcher, Berchi, Goodobin, and a few picks. Don't like Stetcher going. I like Berchi and Goodobin going, considering that they, especially Berchi's got a big cap hit, and they don't look to be in the Canucks plans. But then a few more picks, that's a lot. I'd say no, that's too much, actually, when you have Stetcher and picks going for Tyson Barrie, who we don't even know if we'll be able to sign past this season. That's a lot for a rental. Jamie, do you think that we are going to make trades tomorrow? I do, but I think they're going to be minor. I think that they're not going to be as big as the Toffoli one unless this Barrie one goes through. So hard to say. Tony, do you think this is the most exciting season since the Cup run? You got to remember, the season after the Canucks went to the Cup, they actually won the President's Trophy that very next year. And that was a really good team, too. They were dominating a lot of teams, wiping teams out. So I think that year was good. But no, this season, because of Pettersson and Hughes, is also very exciting. So I think they're pretty equal. Rio's thoughts on Toffoli so far? I think he's been excellent. You saw yesterday two of his goals, his two goals. One of them, he had a guy draped all over him. The other one, he was wide open. And you can see he's calm. He's got a wicked release, can pick corners. I think he's going to be great. And he's been fine. He can play along in the corners, along the boards. Decent passer, decent skater. Not the best skater ever, but I think he'll be just fine. And I think he was a good pickup. Toffoli doing 2 goals, 2 assists. Yes, doing good. Yes, Edmund. Anyone waking up super early for the trade deadline? I'm going to be glued to my phone during work for it. Yeah, me too. Next says, betting seems unwilling to trade more picks. Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of picks. Do you think we should trade Troy or Jake tomorrow? I don't think they should trade Jake for Tannen. I still think he can be a part of this core. Not the total core, but he can be part of our team for a while to go. Depending on, obviously it depends on who comes back in any of these trade situations, but you are indeed correct that, as I mentioned earlier off the top, we have at least 6-7 UFAs, RFAs now with Toffoli that are making $22.5 million this season. So that's not taking into account raises and the fact that we only have $18 million available for next season. I hope we can re-sign Markey, but now we have a lot of players who need extensions. We don't want to lose and add Toffoli question marks to see the Canucks loading up for the playoffs. Yes, it's good that they're loading up, but then they're going to have to make a lot of tough decisions when it comes to signing contracts. Where's Pavel? I'm not sure you're talking about Pavel Bure, but I'll see if you explain on that. GSP GOAT. Is that George St. Pierre or someone else? Van City fan. Hey, Clay. Hello, Van City fan. Ryan, good evening, Clay. Hello, Ryan. Terry, need a great goalie to win anything in the playoffs. Don't trade Markey. Yes, Markey has been awesome, and we will need him. Demko's simply not proven enough, especially if we want to do well in the playoffs this year. Guzzler, do you think Toffoli or Miller will get traded once guys like Podkolzin or Hoglander come up? I think Toffoli will ask for a lot of money because his last big contract. Yeah. All these guys that are 27, 28, 29, 30, they're going to try and hit a home run in their next big contract. And will they get traded? I don't know. Remember when Podkolzin and Hoglander come in, they're only going to come in at $900,000, $1 million at the most by that time. So they give a lot of salary, for the first 3 years, just like we're getting with Pettersson and Hughes. For the first 3 years, we're getting a lot of salary stability. So I don't think just because they come up and they're skilled guys. No, I think we need Toffoli. Maybe Toffoli won't be here, but Miller, he's got 3 more years. He'll be here when Hoglander and Podkolzin get up here. And I think we need him here to mentor them and to still be the top line player. They're not going to walk in as first line players. Tony, do you think Besser will lose a spot on the top line on power play if Toffoli keeps producing like this? Yeah, I think it's a good problem to have, though. If Toffoli keeps doing well, then you can bring Besser in and play Besser with Horvat and Pearson. So I think Besser could play on either of the top 2 lines. So he might lose a spot on power play 1, but then that just makes power play 2 even better with Besser on it. But I don't think we have to worry about that. I don't think Besser worries about that. He seems like a really good team guy, and he'll do whatever is best for the team. Laura, hi, Laura. Who will be the next Canuck in the Ring of Honor? Well, some people are saying Kessler because of his redemption tour. It might be Luongo, who I think, like I just said earlier, I don't think he'll have his jersey retired, but he did, if Burroughs gets in, you think maybe Luongo should get in. Yeah, I think maybe Kessler or Luongo. Yeah, I see Dan just said Edler, although I'll get to that in a second. Maybe it's Edler too, but Edler's still playing. So, it'll have to be a couple years at least after he retires. And maybe I would make a case that Luongo should get in before Edler. But I'm sure Edler will get up there too. He's probably the most consistent defenseman we've ever had. So maybe it's Luongo, but tell me what you guys think. Don't trade anyone, especially Miller. TJ, what do you think it'll take for Jim Benning getting fired, Clay? I think if he misses playoffs this season and next season, Jim Benning will get fired. I think if the Canucks miss this season, but if they're close, I think that's okay because they've exceeded expectations. But I definitely think next season, if Benning doesn't make the playoffs next season, he'll get fired. Or if he does something really silly, either tomorrow or on July the 1st, which I don't think he will. I like Jim Benning. I know a lot of people don't, but I like him. Jamie's, yes, the Oilers did. Edmund, does Jacob still think Besser is from Finland? Yeah, if he comes down in 20 minutes, I don't know, like I said, if it's going to be Sean, if it's going to be Jake, if it's going to be both of them. But yeah, for those of you that saw it, Jacob, my son, my second son, saw the picture of me and Besser, and he goes, oh, how's his English? And I said, it's perfect. Why? And he goes, isn't he from Finland? So I don't know if he's joking. I don't think he was, but I think he thought Brock Besser is from Finland, but maybe it's his hair. I don't know. But we can ask him if he comes down later. All right, wow, there's so much here. Okay, I better speed up. Oh no, we're doing pretty good. I got 15 minutes to get through everything. Okay, there's a lot. I gotta talk faster. No, I don't want to talk too fast. Good evening, where are we? Okay. Edler, Ring of Honor, yeah, that makes sense. Gary, has Canucks ever needed to use emergency goalie before? Yeah, there's a guy named Chris Levesque. Look him up on YouTube. Chris Levesque, he was a UBC goaltender. I don't know if he was emergency. Yeah, he was emergency. He didn't have to play, but it was because our starter got injured, and then the day of the game, he knew that he'd have to get down in the arena. So it was a UBC student named Chris Levesque. Look him up, but he did not end up getting into the game. Who cares about first place? It means nothing. First place does mean home ice for 2 rounds, though. Luca, would you consider Quinn Hughes a generational defenseman? I realize terms such as elite, franchise, and generational can often be confused, but he's one of the best skaters I've ever seen. Yeah, Luca, good question. Quinn Hughes is an amazing skater. Generational, I think, that's a big word to use because you're talking about the best player in your generation. So you could say it's Gretzky and Lemieux, even though now I just named 2 players from that generation. You could say Crosby for a bit, and it depends how you define generation. Is it like 3 or 4 years, or is it 40 years? But generational players, I think of Gretzky, Crosby, McDavid, and Quinn Hughes. I think he's elite. I think he's superb. Generational, we'll have to see. I think we should just be happy that we have him. Benning didn't like Madden at center. Yep. Dan, what are your thoughts on the abrupt D-zone systems turnaround? Puck pressure in D-zone instead of collapsing takes this team to the next level. Yeah, I know they like to collapse and they like to let Markstrom face shots. But yeah, if they do more puck pressure, I think it's awesome. And Dan, I don't know if it's a true systems turnaround or if they've just been better at what they were supposed to be doing earlier. But yeah, I've noticed, and yeah, it certainly looks a lot better than the collapsing and having Markstrom have to make 40 saves. Although I think Boston got almost 40 shots off on him yesterday. It didn't seem like it though, because it wasn't as dangerous. Luca, thanks Clay as always. You're welcome as always. Terry, trade setter, the worst setter ever. Yeah, you got to find someone to take him though. Nexus, Miller is also center. If they brought in another scoring winger, they could run PD, Miller, Horvat. Yeah, Miller's taking a lot of draws, and he's got a really good face-off percentage, and he takes more draws than Pettersson. But I do like him on the wing, especially along the boards. But yeah, I think Miller could play center as well. But I don't think you want Horvat as a third-line center, though. Miller's the best pickup, I agree. Canucks 649. Oh, by the way, about the pickups, when you look at the Canucks, too, it's not just what they did at the trade deadline, or what they'll do at the trade deadline. Think of the trades overall. So yeah, the Toffoli trade was good. But since a year ago, we brought in Josh Levo for a song. We brought in Tanner Pearson for Eric Branson. And they signed guys like Ferland, even though he hasn't worked out yet. And Miller, traded for Miller. Ben, Myers, guys that Pearson, I just said that, guys that have experience winning and playing the playoffs. Now Toffoli, you can see that Jim Benning's loading up with some veterans who know how to win. Jackie says hi to I permanently Nexus with 82 games played. Terry, Last, Guzzler, what are you studying, Clay? I am taking a Master of Arts, Leadership for the New Evangelization. It's a long title, but it's to help me in my work in the Catholic Church in evangelization, leading people closer to Christ. I'm taking it online through the Gustin Institute out of Denver. So just 2 courses down, 10 to go. So, but thank you for asking. I appreciate that. How would Bure do in the league now? Oh, what's your opinion on the trading statute, Trent? I talked about that earlier, so hopefully you can catch up on that. Terry, how would Bure do in the league now? I think it'd be fine, especially if they call, like I'm sure you're talking about Bure in his prime, not Bure right now, but Bure in his prime in the league right now, he'd be amazing because they call a lot more now when it comes to holding and obstruction than they did when he was playing. So I think he'd be amazing right now. Ryan, what are your thoughts on the Leafs-Hurricanes game? What happened in the emergency backup situation? I was at the Boston Pizza on B when all that happened. Ryan, crazy situation, really feel-good story, embarrassing for the Leafs, and I think it was pretty cool. That guy, and him and I have a lot in common. He's 42, I'm 45. He's bald, I'm balding, and we both are connected with the team. He has a lot to do with Toronto and the Marlies, and obviously I'm connected with the Canucks as a fan, as a vlogger, as a music creator. So it's pretty cool. It was a really, really good story. Next is, he'd still be one of the fastest players in the league. About Bure, I agree. Meninder, I could see Vancouver in the playoffs, but would they trade Sven? Yeah, they've been trying to trade Sven. I think he's got no future in the Canucks organization, but it sounds like teams aren't willing to take him. Terry McLean, no 8. I'm not sure what that means. Tony Podkolzin is stat. What does stat mean? Is that a cool thing, or am I missing something? Harps, have a great night. All love, bro. You too. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for popping in, Bodyguard. I appreciate it. Next is, Sven is a non-factor. Green hates him, so never get a decent shake. I agree. I don't know about Green hating him, but yeah, I do think Sven doesn't have a shot here in Vancouver. Tony, starting to pile up the points in the KHL. Yes, I heard about that. Podkolzin doing really well. 8 points in the last little bit. Good for him. Nick, hey, Clay, do you think there's a chance we could trade for Wayne Simmons? It sounds like that trade talk has died down, especially when they're looking at the money, and maybe they're happy with the Toffoli acquisition. I think it's died down a little bit, but we could be surprised tomorrow. Edmund, ideally we get rid of Louis Eriksson. That'd be great. Like when David Backes got traded, I think a package like that is the only way I think Canucks can move him. Yeah, and I think they got rid of Backes by attaching a young, I can't remember who it was. Someone can write it down there, but it was quite the haul for Backes. So, I mean, for the other team, taking on Backes because they got assets as well. It's just slipping my mind who they got, but you're right. That's the only way you can really get rid of Louis. You have to attach a sweetener. It's just what's the value of that sweetener. Unsung hero Mott. Yeah, that's a good point. Meninder, he hasn't played a lot. He's been injured a lot, but when he's been in there, he's been really good. Warrior, hustle, blocking shots, chasing guys down, and adding offense. So yeah, Mott's a good choice as well. Alex Besterson, if we lose Markey, could the Canucks sign the Zamboni goalie? I'm joking off. Yeah, the Zamboni goalie is undefeated. Edmund, unsung, I'd say Gaudette. Yeah, he's been good. Maybe not as noticeable as Pearson, Vertanen, and Mott, though, or Pearson, Vertanen at least, but no, that's a fair one as well. Nexus, he has a no trade, so he can veto any trade. I think you're talking about Eriksson, but I'm not sure. Laura, I say Vertanen has been an unsung hero. Yep, I agree with that. Sim Alexander, I meant, do you think we should trade Besser for a top 4 D man? Oh, I'm sorry, Alex. No, I don't think we should trade Besser for a top 4 D. I think, especially given that contract situation, I think the Canucks still like Besser, and I think he would be a big part of this team going forward. So I wouldn't. Yeah, Manpreet, keep up the great content. Thank you, Manpreet. Appreciate it. Terry Miller, hero. Yes. Oh, as the unsung hero? Yes. Even though he's leading the team in scoring, he can still be unsung, I guess. No problem there. Jamie, do you think that Markstrom will resign with us? Oh, that's a good question. I was talking about that on a podcast earlier. By the way, check out the Orca Pod, very clever, by my friend Braden Ursel. He's BK Ursel23 on Twitter. Just launched a brand new podcast today. You can check it on Twitter. I retweeted it, and I was part of his first episode today. So check that out if you somehow want more Clay content after this. I'm not sure who would want that, but we're up to 82 viewers. That's cool. Not that's about the numbers, but do I think Markstrom will resign with us? It sounds like we're pretty far apart. It sounds like we're offering 3 or 4 years. He probably wants 5 or 6, and I hear that term is more the sticking part than the money. But we'll probably hear more, although Benning has said they're not going to negotiate until after the season so he can focus on the playoffs. I love him to come back, but I could also see the Canucks walking away if they think that it's not going to work, and then that frees up cap space. Of course, then you got to figure out if Demko is your guy of the future. But if I had to choose, I want them to re-sign him, but do I think they re-sign him? I think so, but I certainly don't think it's a slam dunk. Bryson, hey Clay, when or if Besser comes back, do you think Green will put the top lines like this, Miller, Petey, Besser, yeah. I talked about that. Toffoli has proven chemistry with Pearson, and he's skilled enough to play with either Horvat or Pettersson. But I think they're bringing in Toffoli to replace Besser for now while Besser's injured. But I do see Besser sliding back in that top place, and then Toffoli can go in the second line. But then if you're stuck or if those lines aren't clicking, you can swap Besser and Toffoli and put Toffoli on the top line and put Besser with Horvat and Pearson. But I do think when Besser comes back, whenever that is, that he'll get a chance to play on the top line once again. But it's great what Toffoli's doing in the meantime. Who looks better than, I'm not sure what you're talking about, Terry, and who you're talking about, but we'll get back to that. Jasper, sorry at the season ticket event, but couldn't say hi because I was in line. Oh, Jasper, next time make sure you do, or just yell at me, say Clay. I'll turn around and try and find you. I hope you enjoyed it. And Jasper, who was your premier guy? Mine was Besser. I'm not sure who you got, Terry. I think Besser is overrated. Some people do think that. Terry McLean, Adbure. Yeah, me too. Dan, Jovikop. Oh, Jovikop would be good as well. unless you're talking about a Ring of Honor, or if you're talking about who should we add to our roster. Jovic would be amazing with high risk, high reward, right? Him and Hughes, oh, that'd be crazy. Next says, Biss is still a great player and will be like a great addition to top six when he comes back. I agree. I still like him a lot, not just because I got to hang out with him on Thursday night. Bure, P.D. Miller, that would be sick. Maninder, Jamie, Bure, and Linden. Yep, Linden would be good. Next says, do you even watch the Canucks? I'm not sure who you're talking about. Hopefully not me. Terry, Besser is not great yet, dude. Okay, Terry doesn't like Besser, but that's okay. Edmund, Canucks being buyers again makes it exciting. It's been too long. Yes, it's exciting, but it's a little scary too, but we'll see. Teddy, Barry is very bad defensively. Yes, he's had a very poor season. I'm not sure if it's him or if it's the system or whatever, who he's playing with. Next is, when he comes back, he solidifies the top six and hopefully bumps Louis Eriksson into the press box. Everything will be right with the world. Yeah, Louis, and I was saying that you should replace Eriksson with Zach McEwen, and then Eriksson puts up, I think he got a couple points last night, or at least one, if not two, including that goal, of course. Dexter, I don't have school tomorrow on Tuesday, so I'll be waking up early to watch the trade. Oh, that's nice, Dexter. You're lucky. Next is P.D. Miller, P.D. Toffoli, Besser, Horvat, Pearson, solid top six. I agree. Then you have guys like Roussel, Gaudette, Virtanen pushing from behind. And remember, in 2 years, that's going to be Hoglander and Podkolzin and Lynn. That's exciting to me. Rios, Hughes has the lead on the Calder right now. I believe so, and many of you have heard me say this. He is 4 points up on Cale Makar. The points per game is almost equal now. Hughes has 0.82 points per game. Makar has 0.85 points per game, so that's a 0.03 gap. And if Hughes wins the scoring race, and he's played 81 of the 82 games, I don't think that's a punishment. I think voters should see, man, he's durable, he's consistent. He basically played this entire season except for that one game, and he led the team in scoring, the rookies in scoring, and he helped the Canucks get in the playoffs, and he plays he's a better defensive player than Makar, you could argue. I think that Hughes has a really good chance to win the Calder, and I'm not being biased. I think a Colorado fan could say, yeah, Makar has a good chance, but I think Makar started off with the lead, but I think Hughes has surpassed him, especially as he continues to build his lead in the NHL scoring lead. Because remember, the points per game is going to be negligible by the end of the season. Good question. Mark, hey Clay, hey Mark, thanks for coming. What defenseman would you trade for from any of the Canadian teams, and who would you give up from our roster? Well, we've talked about Tyson Barrie quite a bit. Any other defenseman from the Canadian teams? Oh, gosh, Winnipeg doesn't have anyone good. Calgary, I think some of their guys are a bit overrated. I have to think about that. Ottawa's probably got a couple of young guys, but I really have to think about that one. That's a good question, but I can't think of anyone off the top of my head right now. Sorry, Mark, I was unprepared for that one, but I'll be better next time. Luca, I saw your interview on CBC from before. Congratulations. How did that opportunity come about? Where can fans find it online? Thank you, Luca. If you type in CBC Vancouver Clay Emo or CBC Vancouver Canuck Clay, it'll come up. And yeah, I know the producer of that show. Her name is Teresa Lalonde, and I've done something with her before, and she basically scheduled this for November. We bumped it to January, and it was great. I felt very comfortable. I've never met a microphone or a camera that I didn't like, and I felt good. We had a good 8-minute segment. I was able to talk about everything from the Canucks to my faith to the GLCPC, so it was pretty cool, but thank you for that compliment, Luca. I appreciate that. Laura, what do you think the PD and Hughes contracts will look like? Big. I think PD is in line for 9-10 million, and Hughes maybe 7 or 8. And remember, it depends, of course, on term. The shorter the term, the more money. The longer the term, the less money, right? Average. But yeah, I think as a starting point, we're looking at numbers like 10 and 8, respectively. Maybe tell me what you think. Is that too low? It sounds so much. That's 18 million over 2 guys. Kings for life. I'm a Kings fan, but I've been watching the Canucks because of Toffoli and Pearson. Oh, cool, Kings. Tell us about what we can expect from Toffoli. I'd love to know. All right, I'm going to whip through. Oh, man, there's so much. Okay, I think I just got to acknowledge that I'm not going to get through all the questions, too. And maybe that's an incentive for people to come early and to ask the questions early. But I'll keep going until for the next few minutes or so. And then we'll get one of the boys in here. All right, King Suck, Edler, Unite Horvat and Besser and Pearson with Besser returns. Yeah, we talked about that. Toffoli compliments Petey and Miller much better. How bad is Eriksson? He's pretty bad. Nux, do you think Josh Leivo will return for the playoffs? I really miss Leivo. Yeah, Leivo's kind of kind of low-key, solid presence. We'll see. You know, first they were saying 1 to 3 months, and now they're saying not until the playoffs, but maybe he will return for the playoffs. I don't have any inside info. I hope so. But, yeah, he'd be a great bottom 6 player for the playoffs as well. He's so bad he'll never hurt himself because he can't skate fast enough. I think you're talking about Eriksson. Is it you, Sean, tonight?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. I'll bring you in a couple minutes. Cool. Leivo is trash. Dan, Jim seems so down to earth to me, no pomp, just a blue collar guy. I'm pretty sure you're talking about Jim Benning, but that's my guess. Benning has rebuilt the prospects here in Vancouver, nothing to do with the exception. We had nothing with the exception of Horvat under Gillis. Yeah, a lot of people like Gillis, but a lot of people say that he didn't do great in stockpiling our picks and prospects. Besser's injury prone. Okay, keep going. I want to go new stuff. Wait, do you have a cousin or something that's affiliated with the Winnipeg Jets and is a goalie? Yes, Real Dread. My cousin Dusty, he's now coaching in the KHL, the Beijing team in the KHL, if you can follow that. But he did 2 years in the Winnipeg Jets organization as their goaltending coach. So he worked with Hellebuck and Hutchinson, and then he did 4 years with the LA Kings organization, and that included working with guys like Jack Campbell, just got traded to Toronto, and Jeff Zatkoff, and guys like that, and Peterson, Cal Peterson as well. So yes, thank you for noticing it. Emo is not a very common name, and an emo in hockey is not very common, right? Just me and my kids help me out with, and then of course my cousin Dusty. Good catch, Rios. I'm not sure if you saw that somewhere or if you heard about that. All right, we go 2 more minutes, then we bring Sean in. Hughes is a franchise defenseman. Yes, I agree. I wouldn't call him generational, but he certainly is a franchise D. Okay, there's a lot of good content, and I really appreciate all the questions. But I do want to honor your time, and I want to stick to 45 minutes of me, then 15 minutes of the kids or the kid, and then we want to finish by 11 or 11:05. So and Rios, yes, I just saw Clay, you're on fire. 80 people watching. Yeah, I've never crested over 80 people, but I saw that get up to 82. So thank you. So thanks. I'm sorry that I didn't get to all your questions, but this is a good thing. I'm not sure if, I think I was only able to get to everyone's questions the first few weeks because there's hardly anyone in here. But now that we have 80 people in here, it's amazing. It's such a blessing. But I do want to cut this part off now and encourage you to get in early next week and then get your questions in early. But I appreciate it. Oh, next week I got to figure out if I'm doing this actually, because I'm supposed to be going to the Columbus game, which means at 7 o'clock, but I don't think I'm even going to make it. Oh, no, that's 2 weeks from now. Let's worry about that later. Okay, so now we will do this. A thumbs up ticks the algorithm. We'll do this. Every question here on in will go towards my son Sean and or me. Just say who you want it to go. And yeah, I see a few people asking for Jacob as well. I'm going to see if I can convince him to come down for the last 5 minutes, but that's no offense to Sean, I'm sure. Okay, so Sean, we're gonna move this over. Okay. We're gonna fit you in here. And again, I'll do a wrap up at 11 o'clock or so. Thank you, and I apologize for the questions we didn't get to, but it's a good thing that we have more questions than time. Move up, you always make me look so there. Okay.
Wow. Hi, everybody.
All right, this is Sean.
For all the likes. Let's get more likes. Get to 25.
You sound worse than me.
I know.
Okay, we're gonna start from right here.
Okay.
All right. How old are you?
I'm 18 years old.
Hey, Sean, are you excited to finally see some Canucks playoff hockey?
I'm very excited. Hopefully we can stay on pace here, sneak in the hopefully top 3, not need to stress too much about a wild card spot. But yeah, I'm really excited. Hopefully I can get to a game.
Hi, Sean, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Tony says, hey, Clay, I saw you on a podcast today. Yeah, I talked about that very quickly, Tony. Check out the Orca Pod by my buddy Braden Ursel. He's BK Ursel 23 on Twitter. And yeah, I'll be able to chat for about half an hour on stuff. And let's support him as he starts off his new podcast. Thank you, Tony. Mm-hmm. Clay and your sons, this quality content. Keep it up. Canucks fans are great people. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
He called you quality.
I am quality.
It's the first person who's called you quality. Ben, seems like the athletic version of Jacob.
That's the way it is. Would not going to argue with that.
What's wrong with your voice?
I don't know. I'm getting a little scratchy. I don't want to go to school tomorrow.
You have to go to school tomorrow. You just had a week off.
I know.
Okay. So you're a good athlete.
Yes.
Played a lot of sports. Jacob's a good athlete.
He's okay.
But you, I think, more well-rounded.
Yeah.
But Jacob's a better bowler. Is that
You're
fair?
well-rounded too.
Okay, I'm going to kick your butt after. Okay. Jacob, a good athlete though too.
Yes, very.
Yeah, but that's pretty funny how... some guy just said... Okay, well, actually, I'll get to it in a second. We'll go in order.
Here we go.
Rios and Clay, I saw the Dusty emo thing on TSN during a Jets game. They showed him. Yeah, they showed him, I think, in the press box, maybe. Yeah, and they talked about him. Cool. Rios, hey, Jamie, hey, Sean, how's it going with you, buddy?
Going good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. Next says, Clay needs a booster seat.
Yeah, he does.
No, this seat goes up. Next there now, but I don't want to be...
Nice.
No, but that's not a true representation of our height.
Congrats.
Be nice. Sean, what are your thoughts on last night's game? I was at the game. How more games are you going to? So firstly, your thoughts on last night's game?
Last night's game was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Was able to watch it all and loved every minute of it.
What's your favorite part?
Favorite part? Probably, I really like Pedersen scoring right off the draw in the third period.
Kind of snuffed up any chance of a comeback.
Yeah.
Are you going to any more games this season?
Hopefully.
Student Rush?
Student Rush tickets are always great. They come out on the day of, so probably try to get to 2 or 3 more if I could.
Terry, do you bug your dad about your head of hair?
Yeah, it's a lot more than his head of hair, that's for sure.
Hey man, if something works, you stick with it.
I don't think it works, but that's okay.
It's been working. We have 80 people watching. That's working. Yes. Sean, what's your take on the Weeknd song "Blinding Lights"?
I haven't been able to listen to much of his new album yet, so I'll get back to you on that one.
Does Weeknd sing circles? No, seriously.
I don't know.
Is that post?
I don't know. We'll have to go on a YouTube Google search later.
Daniel, I completely forgot your stream. It's okay, Daniel. You've been giving me so much money over the past 2 months. You can forget these streams once in a while, but I hope you're doing well. Sean, what's it like being a snake? What does that mean?
It's a solder thing.
Oh.
It's not really what it's put out to be, I think. I think we get a bad rep, but I'm actually really liking the school. I think everyone that I've met has been really awesome, so yeah.
Good answer. What does snake mean? Like bad?
Yeah,
like slithery?
Yeah, like we can talk
slimy.
about.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about
Is
it
it
later.
perverted?
No,
Okay,
not at all.
that's good.
You wish. What? Sorry. Next.
Knox, Sean, where do you see the Canucks finishing in the Pacific Division?
Realistically, I think we finished number 2 behind Vegas. I think that's a realistic representation of where we are, and I think Edmonton's going to start to drop off in the next little bit.
Rios, always the pragmatic one, the practical one. Everyone chill out. Playoff race is not over. We still have a chance to not get in. Yes, but we have a chance to get in as well, and that's the hope that we hold on to. Jasper, who's your favorite Canuck, Sean?
Bo Horvat.
Mine too. Sean, what's your favorite memory with your awesome, great-looking dad, Clay? Mark is a smart guy. Honestly, what's a good memory?
Best memory?
Does that be Canucks related?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's every sports game or whatever athletic thing that I've been a part of. My dad's always been there to... my dad's always been there to drop me off, support me.
Is that supposed to be a violin?
Yeah, I can't really tell it, but yeah, just his support. He always lets me do what I want, and he's never too hard on me. So appreciative for that.
Thank you. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. I've supported him through his ball hockey when he was a goal suck, scoring all those goals from center line in. His football, his bowling, his ill-fated baseball career, his soccer, volleyball, basketball, everything he does. And it's good. It's actually Sean's probably a stronger athlete than I was at his age, so it's kind of cool to see what he was doing. Although I was a very fast runner, believe it or not. Let's keep going. What happened?
No, I'll tell you later.
Is it bad?
No.
Did someone go thumbs down?
No.
Oh.
Thumbs up have been awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Will the Canucks sign Toffoli? Who won't be Canucks next year that is on the team? I'll take this one.
Yeah.
The Toffoli, I think it's 50-50. I think it really depends on how well he does. I think they're trying to trade Stetcher because they don't think they can re-sign him. And I've talked about it a couple of times, Dean. The Canucks, with their UFAs and RFAs, they make $22.5 million this year, and that's with no raise. They have $18 million in cap space next season, so something at least 1 or 2 players got to give. Sean, who is the greatest Canuck of all time?
Depends on what we're talking about. I like to say Henrik Sedin, but that's because I grew up with him. He's all I've ever known. I wish I got to see Bure live, but I'm going to say Henrik Sedin.
How many Canucks jerseys do you own?
I own 3 at the moment.
Who is it?
Horvat, Henrik, and then I have a white skate jersey that I raided from my uncle's closet.
And I borrow his Horvat. Then I have, not that you're asking me, but I have Hughes, the black one, then a not Pearson. I have Hughes, Pedersen, Besser, his Horvat, then Daniel Henrik, Luongo, and David Booth.
David Booth.
Thank you. I'm expecting Toffoli to get at least 10 goals for you guys in the remaining games, then turn on the playoffs if y'all make it. Thank you, Kings for Life. That's not Post Malone. Oh, that's Post Malone, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Laura, look at Laura
Appreciate you, Laura.
bringing the hip-hop knowledge, the hippity-hoppity of Laura.
Oh, yikes.
Terry, hope you know how lucky you are to have your dad and to get to see Canucks hockey games.
Oh, definitely. Thank you for that, Terry. I'm extremely lucky. I'm extremely blessed, and yeah, I try to stay grateful for it.
Thanks, Terry. You're a good guy. Hey, Sean, are you going to be the trade deadline tomorrow? I think, are you going to be following it?
For sure. Luckily, I don't have class till noon tomorrow, so I'll have my phone on the whole time. I'll listen to 1040 on the way to school. So,
Do you think Monday is going to be a quiet trade deadline?
in terms of the league, I couldn't really tell you. I think for the Canucks, I think we'll make moves, but I think they'll be small moves. I don't think we'll hear any huge blockbusters on our side.
Sean, you get your good looks from your dad.
You should see my mom. I think I get it from her.
Ben, do you think Canucks will get buried tomorrow or tonight? I've talked about this basically all hour. Maybe you should talk about it.
Yeah. I think Barry, it's kind of a weird fit for us because I think he's the type of guy who needs to be the number one scoring option on the back end, run the power play, and I think we have that in Hughes. So if we get Barry, it's kind of trading Stetcher. That to me sounds like it'll only be if we feel like we can't sign Stetcher in the offseason.
Tony, advice for marrying an Asian woman. Oh, this is for me, I guess, because you're not married yet.
Yeah.
And your girlfriend not Asian.
Nope.
Advice, I'm just very lucky that I found someone who puts up with me. I can't give you any dating advice. I'd be the wrong person to do that. And that's not this kind of show anyways. Ryan, Clay, you should start running again. Yes, I just run for the all-you-can-eat sushi bar right now. But I do play volleyball, I do play roller hockey, and I do play softball. So, but I know, Ryan, you're a good runner. I see your stuff on Instagram all the time. It's pretty impressive, actually. Nice to meet you at the stadium a few nights ago. You too, D-Dwag1. D-Dwag1, what's your actual name? I want to make sure I know who I'm talking to. D-Dwag1. Terry, awesome, guys. Thank you. Laura, Post is one of my favorite artists. That's cool.
Nice.
Post is also one of my favorite moves in basketball. Mark Clay, what's your favorite character trait about your awesome, good-looking, great Bester-like hair son, Sean? Truly, Sean is very well-rounded. He's very intelligent. He doesn't rub it in anyone's face, but he's also very considerate, very caring. And among all of our church friends, he was the first kid. So he has a very nurturing, protective side, and he's very good with smaller children. And that's why, and teens, and that's why he's involved in both teaching and youth ministry at our church. So he could be a little more respectful, especially he's being nice right now because the camera's on. But
I'm brutal.
he's brutal. But then my wife reminds me that I was like that with my dad, so maybe I can't get too hard on. But no, Sean's a very well-rounded and very good big brother and very responsible son.
Thanks.
And he's pretty smart.
Thanks.
Could pay for more things around the house. Though,
Yeah, that's a big one too.
Oscar, do you ever talk about what your dad does when talking to your friends?
The funniest part, I think he's talking about the whole Canucks thing. The funniest part is that it's never me who brings it up. It's always other people that find it for me. So I think a lot of the time, I know, I go around as Canuck Clay's son. So that's a little embarrassing, but it's all in good fun. And
Why is it embarrassing?
you see the stuff you do. But no, I think it's fun. All my buddies do it in good fun. So I like it.
All right, we're going to go until 11:05, so 7 more minutes. Bowling tip. Let's give one bowling tip.
Bowling tip, don't look at the pins, look at the arrows. It's a lot easier to hit a target that's closer to you.
Oh, that's what my problem is. Ryan Clay, you asked about defensemen out there. You could be seeing traded. Jeff Petrie's name is being talked about around the league. Yeah, I know nothing about his contract. I know he's a decent player, but I haven't really thought about that. But thank you, Ryan. Favorite food at Rogers Arena?
Carved sandwich.
Mine too. Dylan. Yes, Dylan. I do remember meeting you. Thank you, Dylan, for saying hi. I just didn't know who D-Dwag was or DD-Wag1. So, Dylan, it was great meeting you at the arena on Thursday for sure. So, how you doing? Sean, did you actually fight Jacob after his comment in the live stream chat last time? And if you did, who won?
I don't think we fought for that reason specifically, but...
Do you remember the comment?
I don't. But if we were to scrap, I would smoke him.
Yeah, just like I'd smoke you.
You wish. Next.
Who do you think Seattle will take in the draft next year? If you're it depends.
Probably one of our goalies.
Yeah, but if it depends who we protect. But if we protect Markstrom and Demko's out there, but there are a lot of other good young goalies out there, so we'll see. I kind of hope that the Canucks float someone else out there too, but we'll see. What's your favorite subject in school?
In high school, it was English. I guess so far in university, it's been organizational behavior. Is pretty cool.
Kraken or Sockeyes? Yes, the rumor is Seattle Kraken, but that's not confirmed.
Seattle Seaman.
Sean, Ron Hainsey from Ottawa is a D man. who might be available from Ottawa. Your thoughts? Running a little old.
Yeah, I don't know too much about him, so I'm gonna remain passive on this one.
Sean, screw the Oilers.
Yeah.
Sean, you ready for playoffs?
Always.
Do you go to Warriors game? A lot of fun, highly recommended. We have not been, but we've talked about it.
Yeah, I want to. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Terry, thanks. Good night, twins. Good night,
Terry.
Terry. Mark, you guys are awesome. Father and son goals. That's very nice of you. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Nux, are you guys going to go to playoff games? I'm going to. Usually it's me and my season ticket partner, Mike, and then if the two of us can't go, if he gets a pair or I get a pair, it's usually either going to be him or my lovely wife, Gail. You guys can figure out who's going to be.
We'll figure it out. We'll try to get to one.
Yes. Sean, has Jacob ever tried to steal your girlfriend?
It's an odd question, but I'm gonna go no with that one.
21 there about Martin. Hey, Martin.
Hey, Martin.
Do you think the Raptors go to the NBA Finals this year?
Out of the East, it's definitely easier than out of the West, but I don't know if they have, without Kawhi, I don't know if they have that X factor to help them get over the Bucks.
Good answer. I don't watch the NBA as much. What is your Starbucks order?
Ooh. Starbucks, I don't know, maybe green tea frappuccino.
What was your lowest grade in high school? In high school.
In high school, 89, I think.
Your lowest grade was 8, and
Yeah.
it sounds conceited, but he's not being conceited. He's being. I've seen his report card. Your lowest score was 89.
Yeah, 89 somewhere in grade 11, I think.
Wow. What do you get at Tim Hortons? He's saying. Okay, keep going.
Okay, usually ice cap in the summers. Any other time, maybe double French vanilla if I'm feeling special, and then honey dip donut.
Okay, and as we wind up, you're starting to do this already. Just start to put your lowest high school score ever. I've seen a 47. I've seen a 50. Last question: what's the best thing you did on your break?
Sleep. Got to catch up on sleep. That was big.
All right, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for
Catch
saying
you
those
later.
nice words.
You're welcome.
All right, Canucks fans, this is good. We're going to finish before 11:05, which was my goal. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who joined me. Canucks now, so that was Sean, obviously. Sometimes you get Sean, sometimes you get Jacob, sometimes you get both of them, but I'm grateful that they take the time and make this almost a priority. So as I see, I don't get to answer all the comments today, questions, but I assure you that I do read all of them, and I appreciate all of you. So thank you. I really appreciate all these questions. I see a lot of the funny ones that are still coming, so I'll make sure I read them later. I might not get a chance to reply to them, but as this uploads, it takes about 20 minutes to upload now because it's about an hour worth of content. But thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know you could be doing anything else right now, but I appreciate that you are sticking out with me on a Sunday night or a Monday morning, depending on where you're watching from. So it's a big week. The trade deadline tomorrow, I'm going to have some coverage on it once I get to a computer or a phone tomorrow after my work meetings. So trade deadline tomorrow. Then we have Montreal on Tuesday, Ottawa Thursday, and then Toronto on Saturday. So a week from now, we're going to have so much to talk about. We're going to be talking about the trade deadline. We're going to talk about the 3 Canadian teams and those games. We're going to talk about a trip to Kelowna that I'm making next weekend on Friday and Saturday with 2 of the kids bowling, Jacob and Kayla, not Sean. Actually, he's got a big UBC solder event, and we're going to have a lot to talk about next week. But in the meantime, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Like this video if you like to. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I do appreciate you. I'm going to check out all these messages that are flying through right now, and I hope you guys have a really great week. Thanks again. God bless, and go Canucks go.